The Ferrari 849 Testarossa has just been launched in India. In fact, it's been the biggest Ferrari launch in India. And the Ferrari CEO himself has come down to launch it. And I have Benedetto Vigna, Ferrari CEO. Benedetto, thanks for talking to us. First question, you're coming down here. It's a big statement. We've never had the global CEO come down. So obviously India, an important market, but just wanted to understand a market which sells just 50 cars a year. How important is it, and what is the really strategic importance rather?
Thank you. First of all, it's a pleasure always to be with you and to talk about Ferrari. I think that in the life, what is important is more to become than to be. It's true, the market today is small, but what we believe is that this market offers unique opportunities for several reasons. Because there is a lot of passion for our brand, because there is a lot of passion for innovation, because the people, this is a young country, because also there's a lot of love for innovation, and because here the people behave like, the purpose of our company is sake. In the purpose of our company, we say we audaciously redefine the limit of possible.
Right.
The best word, the sentence in Hindi that represents this is Hoga Kaise Nahi.
You're learning Hindi now as well.
No, you told it.
We'll come back to your India, let's say, experience. You've been a lot in India, but honestly, Benedetto, we're a 4.3 million market. And if you look at the super luxury car, just a couple of thousand, it's just very, very small, and it's not grown for a long time. So obviously we'll come to the EU FTA also, which gives a lot of potential. So is that something that is driving you to look at India more closely because of the potential of obviously taxes coming down? This car you've launched over 10 crores, it's a lot of money for, Indians, and obviously very few markets. So just to get your sense on what are you seeing as the opportunity, and even this segment of the market, which is so small, it's just not grown for a long time.
I think that if I go to see in the world, India is unique because you are a country that is growing. You have a country that is the number of the HNWI, the high net worth individual is growing. Here, many different sectors are doing well. High tech, pharmaceutical, manufacturing. The wealth is growing, and it's a new money. And this goes hand in hand with the passion these people have with our brand. I think the story of FTA with Europe is helping also.
Right.
But I believe that I sense it, okay? I sense that this is the place that could represent and will represent for us a good market. It's something that will take time, because when you open a new market, it takes time. But we have all the ingredients are aligned and makes sense for us to invest in a place. And as you said, we just had the first national event, the first brand event at a national scale that we are having here in India. So I think there are a lot of ingredients that are pointing in the right direction.
Right. So let's talk a bit on the EU-India FTA. Clearly, I think, look, prices eventually will come down. I don't know how you're managing it in the interim, because obviously there'll be a lot of wait and watch right now, which might affect business in the short term.
Yeah.
There's even talk of if you order today and your cars take a long time, then you don't get it tomorrow, you get it after 2 years. Will you commit to a new price if there was, with the duties coming down? So what is your strategy with, in mind with the FTA, which will probably come in the next 2 years at the most?
I think that what is important when things change around you is to be fast, to be nimble, to adapt. So this final decision has not been yet taken, but what I can guarantee you that, as it was the case of the tariff 1 year ago, when we were very quick and fast to decide how to approach the market, we'll do the same thing here.
Right.
So the conditions around us are changed.
Right.
Clearly. Now it's up to us to see and to decide how we want to move in the most effective way for us and for the client, for all India.
Right. So there is a possibility that obviously to increase the volumes, which you want to do, and increase the market, there could be, let's say, the benefit of the reduction in duty being passed on to the customer.
This is for sure a benefit that the people will get.
Right.
What I can tell you is that, as usual, we want to be very fast in taking decision and update the commercial policy to the changing condition. That's what we will do.
Right.
Give us a few weeks, and then we'll be very clear about that.
Right. So what you're saying, but how do you see this 2-year period going? Obviously, there's a lot of...
This is part of the new commercial policy we are defining. What you said is clearly that we want to avoid this wait and see behavior of the people.
Right.
Because that's what can be induced, okay?
Right.
But the new commercial policy will take into account all also the wait and see.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't mean to press you, but the logic would be then in a wait and see is that you give them some assurance on a lower price if the duties come in at that point. I think that is...
Give us a few weeks, and then we'll be very clear.
Right. Okay.
We have been clear with the tariff in US.
Right.
Because we were ready already end of March.
Right.
1 year ago. We were clear, straight, defining what was our policy, and we'll do the same also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, I just want to talk on general on, let's say, powertrain strategy. Now you've got ICE, you've got hybrid, you've got EVs. Clearly, you've covered everything over there. So, what is your sense? How is this panning out? Because it's a very kind of, volatile situation right now. EV demand is not what it was, and especially at, a performance end. Clearly, there are big challenges over there. You're going ahead with the Luce, which, by the way, I think interiors is absolutely fantastic. And, others have kind of shied away from it. Lamborghini, Maserati have actually said they're not going to go into EVs in that space. Porsche doing very badly also with the EV. So does this worry you, and what are you doing different that you think you're confident that it will be a success?
Look, I'm not worried. What I mean is that I fully respect the point of view of the competitors. As I'm sure, I respect theirs, and I'm sure they respect ours. I mean, it's a different point of view. We are coming from different experience as companies. We are coming from different scale. What I can tell you is that we are a unique company because we are doing only sports cars. We don't have any other things around us. And in a certain sense, we have the flexibility to avoid the concept of platform. Some people have to work in the concept of platform. And when you work in the concept of platform, you put some boundary conditions that are on top of the boundary condition of the market around us. Ferrari Luce, for us, it's also electric. It's not electric. It is also electric because, as you said, there are a lot of innovation. The interior are very new. A lot of anodized...
So it's a clean sheet of paper.
It's a clean sheet of paper. If you go to see, we did more than 100 patents. More than 100 patents for this car.
Right.
And they encompass everything. The way we the way the driver deals with the dashboard, the material, the dynamics. So it's not only the propulsion. So because the reality, what is it? A lot of people believe that making an electric car is nothing more than getting rid of the engine and putting a motor. Well, this is not what we did. We reinterpreted everything: the interior, the exterior, the technology, the design language. And we want to do it because we realize that there is a gap over there. There is a gap. And for whatever reason, and I not want to comment, maybe dictated by time and maybe dictated by money, let's say investment optimization,
right.
A lot of other players just replace the propulsion scheme.
Right.
So this is, I think, we are very optimistic about that, but we are also very, let's say, we want to make sure that the choice is at the end of the client.
Right.
We don't want to choose for the client.
And, you've seen how other EVs have performed, what they're doing. What do you think is the few secret ingredients of making a supercar, an electric supercar, successful? I mean, you've seen the high-end ones, Rimac, Pininfarina, Lotus also have tried, just all failed miserably, very expensive. Do you think... So I just want to ask you, what is that secret sauce? Because clearly it's not worked over there. So I just want to know the few ingredients that will make a difference.
I think that very often people tend to forget that one point is the performance of the technology. One point is how these performances are perceived by the human being.
Does it have to be more ICE-like to...
No, I think that when you talk, let's say it's clear to us which are the generators of the driving trails. Because you buy cars because you want to have some driving trails. Well, the generator of the driving thrills are 5. There is longitudinal acceleration.
Right. But that EVs all give that.
Okay.
But maybe too linear.
And it's linear and also too much, because sometimes it's disturbing our brain.
Right.
Okay. And we did a lot of study with different medical center and also with NASA to understand what is the level of acceleration that is disturbing the people. Because,
That's interesting. So you're saying too much acceleration is not a good thing.
No. And you are just waiting for the time to stop the acceleration. Right. So there is a longitudinal.
Right.
Then there is a transversal acceleration.
Right.
And for the transversal acceleration, there is one point that is very important, is the weight.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We agree.
Especially transitioning through corners.
Yes. And because what it happens is that when you are cornering, the eyes want to corner, but the gyroscope in the ear, because of the weight of the car, feels that you are drifting.
Right.
And so this is second important parameter. Then there is the braking experience.
Right.
You have to brake, and the car, lighter it is, better it is.
And even the feeling, the linearity, the regen, all that can disturb.
You have to use it the right way.
Yeah.
You see, I agree with you that there are several electric cars where this regeneration is disturbing.
Exactly.
And it seems that you are not in control. Then there is another parameter that is the gear shift.
So that's where you break the linearity and give that ebb and flow.
Is a true torque shift engagement.
Right. So are you saying that you might have a gearbox?
I'm telling you that when you will step in Ferrari Luce, on the steering wheel, on the two sides, right and left, you will have the paddle shift. Right. The same paddle shift that you have in all the car we make.
And it's not for regen levels.
No. It's not for regen. It's not for braking. It's really torque. You work on the torque.
Right.
You don't just brake more or less. Okay.
Right.
And then there is also the sound.
Right.
So these are the 5 generators.
So the sound is a tricky one. How do you? But will there be some artificiality to it?
The electric sound, the electric motor is not silent.
Right.
There is a sound over there. The problem is sometimes today, most of us associate the sound of electric motors to some high frequency that is disturbing.
Right.
But there are also low frequency.
Right.
There are also ways to pick up the sound in authentic way, in original way, to avoid to look like a kind of DJ mastered sound. So I think that these are the 5 generators.
Right.
It's not easy. We spend a lot of time.
Right.
A lot of brain time.
Right. And tell me, I know a separate thing, how does range come into this? Because with EVs, the harder you drive, the range plummets. And honestly, on a track, even to do, let's say, 1 lap of the Nürburgring can, be a challenge for the battery, So how important is range in this, and how do you manage that? Because the harder you drive, it just drops like a rock.
This is a good point. We are, first of all, the range of our car will be more than 500 kilometers of this car, of Ferrari Luce.
But driven hard, it could be down to 200.
Yeah, but Ferrari Luce is not meant to be on a truck.
Right.
Ferrari Luce is not meant to be, because today, apart from whatever we read on internet, the problem, there is still a problem for the battery to make a supercar that can make a lot of kilometers altogether. So the reason why we pick up and we position the Ferrari Luce in some way is because the technology is not yet ready for battery technology for truck use for a long time.
Right.
Because the so-called C rate.
That's right. Exactly. And the thermal issues.
The thermal issues are key.
Right. Yeah. So okay, that's interesting. So it's not a track car, but still driven hard, you will have enough range.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Also because, you make a low speed and you take 500 kilometers. If you don't make a high speed, okay, at high speed, yes, you may shorten the range, but in any case, if you are 300 kilometers, if it's,
good enough.
It's
that's right. Yeah, and obviously you'll have a very. What is the charging speed? Because clearly that would be.
We did not discuss, but the system is capable to go up to 800 volt. Is capable also for fast charging.
Yeah, 800 volt. Obviously, then you have a. No, fantastic. And Benedetto, I want to touch upon the design. Honestly. To be honest, there have been, I wouldn't say controversial, but people have been polarized that you've become very, function-led. It's always function follows form. Is that a strategy? Because it looks like lot of the cars are designed in a wind tunnel and, first, and that's how it is. So, they will talk about the Testarossa, which obviously it looked different then. You didn't have the side strakes because, let's say the functionality didn't allow that. So just your thoughts on Ferrari design evolution.
For Ferrari design, I think it's fundamental to have that the function follows form.
Function follows form.
FF. I like to say FF.
Yeah. You did have a Ferrari FF.
Yes. No, this is 3F.
Yeah. Okay.
Function follows form.
Right.
3F.
Right.
I think it's important because at the end of the story, the engineering and the design must work hand in hand.
Right.
There is also this beautiful interplay between the performance-driven, engineering-driven design and the design, pure design.
The emotional design.
Emotional. I think that the two must go hand in hand. In our company, what happens is that there are continuous meeting, continuous trade-off. And if you want, the advantage of a company like ours, that is relatively small, is very good because we can be fast in adapting the requirements. So I attend many meetings where, for example, you have the designers that want to have the hole bigger or smaller than some dimension, but then you come engineers and say, no, the hole must have this minimum dimension. So there is this beautiful interplay that makes the car unique, because our cars are unique, not only for the design, for the engineering performances, but also for the way they are manufactured.
Right.
This is the uniqueness in the manufacturing. The so-called handcraft dimension is key to have something that is unique and that can be less replicable on a scale.
Right. And, coming to design, I think something very radical was the interior of the Luce, very retro. Was that deliberate to kind of compensate for, let's say, the slight lack of emotion EVs have, and you try and bring it back with the interior, which is obviously, having some sort of a retro feel and a lot more emotion? Was it deliberately to be done for that?
You got it very well. I think today there is I would say a bizarre association.
Yeah, because if you have an electric car, then you have to have screens inside, everything digital. That's the concept. Yeah.
Yes, because people believe that if it is electric, then you need to have a lot of screens.
Right.
Because, I don't know, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. I think that if, let's put it this way, if this electric motor technology and the battery would have been available 50, 60 years ago,
right,
without display, what would have been doing? For sure not have been putting all this display.
It would be like this.
Yeah. I think it would be run like ours.
Yeah.
I think this is a good example how in Ferrari we put together two important dimensions.
Right.
Tradition and innovation.
Right.
The past and the future.
Right.
And if you want, and I'm telling this because I realized it while in India. India is a place where the past and the future, tradition and innovation, live very well.
Right. Yeah.
So this is another important point that I realized in these days I was traveling in India.
Right.
Is a right balance between the past and the future.
Right. Past and the future, but I want to ask you something. I personally love the interior. I think, gone back to buttons, it looks retro. Do you think it can be so popular that there might be a pressure to put it on your ICE vehicles and hybrids as well? Is there a thought on that? I mean, could that be a new design language? I mean, a new design signature going forward?
We are a believer of what I call phygital. Right. The balance between analog and digital. Physical, old physical, and modern digital. So phygital.
Yeah.
We like it.
Even with the Testarossa, we've got a lot of the buttons back.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right. If you take a Testarossa, the steering wheel, we got kind of all the touch.
That's right. Yeah.
And today, we are already offering a client that bought a Purosangue or 12 cylinder before with all this touch, we got rid of the touch.
Right.
Because the touch is something that is made
right
by, let's say, for the supplier advantage.
Right.
Making a touch button is cheaper.
That's what I thought.
Than making 50% cheaper.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because if you have to make all these nice, beautiful, crafted buttons, you need to have a lot of...
some tooling as well. Here you get, I mean, I guess the touch is, to be honest, common for a Ferrari or even an Alfa Romeo. It's the same thing underneath, isn't it? So from a scale point of view and a cost point of view, it's much lower.
Look, we have no problem to go around with electronic consumer product that look like all the same.
Right.
But we don't like
to
go around with cars that all look like the same. So we need to do something unique.
Right.
Something that is
I mean, it's quite even extreme if you ask me, so
Yeah,
and it's
extreme
like
because we are used to something else. No?
right. So what you're saying is if there is liked a lot, it's not inconceivable that you could move
We are
in this direction.
in the right way.
Right.
In the right way.
Right.
Today, look, if you take Ferrari Amalfi, we unveiled 2 days ago. It has more anodized aluminum.
Right.
If you take the new Testarossa that we saw before, there is the steering wheel. You said it properly.
Yeah.
It's more interacted than it was the SF90 or the Roma or other car.
Right. No, that's really fantastic. And, I want to talk a little about of you, Benedetto, as we wind up this interview. Thanks. It's been very fascinating, great insights. You've come from a semiconductor industry, very, very high tech. It's very interesting to see that you are injecting passion back, with these kind of emotional elements of which is, really away from the very high-tech world. Yeah, exactly. Cold high-tech. Yeah, exactly. So how do you balance the technology and the legacy, and what are the learnings you think you can bring, to a company which has such strong tradition and legacy?
But I think there are, first of all, let's say also when I was in semiconductor business, I had a lot of fun and I put a lot of warmness, a lot of passion in what I was doing. So,
right.
Because at the end of the story, it's all about people, and the people are.
I don't know how 486 chip can be warm.
But this is the way you manage it, the way you talk to the client, whatever.
Right.
For sure, coming from semiconductors, there are some lessons, something that was useful for me coming to Ferrari. One is the value of open innovation.
Right.
Open innovation is fundamental because when you see different point of view, you can make something unique. You have to listen to different point of view. And this is the second is when you work in semiconductors, you deal with a supplier at worldwide scale.
Right.
And I think this is important for a company like ours that want to make something unique and something that is driven by product innovation.
Right.
And then there is also another point that I have been, this is what some colleagues are telling me, that since I have been starting my career, always working on product innovation, I have some confidence with a product innovation in the sense that, and I think that's what they tell me, I'm able to transmit this confidence. Right. This does not mean that I own the truth. Nobody own the truth.
Right.
But we keep challenging ourselves that in India you say, no, Oga kaise nahi. I mean, this is the point, right? I discovered this sentence and I think it's one of the best sentences that can represent the purpose, the spirit of Ferrari and the way I approach innovation.
Right. And last question, I think we're running out of time, is, your, let's say, connection with India. I think you've come here multiple times. You've come right now as CEO, I think twice in 6 months, which is again amazing. We hope to see you a lot more often. I mean, what is it about India that really fascinates you and, your experiences here?
There are many things. You said it well.
The traffic?
The traffic, for me, I was telling the colleague, I like the color and the sound of India, okay?
Right. Yeah.
No, I think I came to India now the first time before year 2000. I have a lot of friends. Now also a lot of direct, client. We get to know also last time we were in here in...
That's right. At the IIT.
For IIT. I think that I like the food, I like the people, I like the energy that you can breathe in the air.
Right.
I like the color, I like the sound. And also I like the way Indians approach life.
Right.
I think, I have been many times in India, but yesterday I was in Varanasi.
Right.
And it was very unique. And I think that to know India, you need to go to Varanasi. And I have a regret I did not go there earlier. It would have been easier to understand many things.
There's a lot to see in India.
In India, a lot to see, and as I said,
a lot to experience.
A lot of many
but
things.
It's really great to have, you, which has India in your heart as well.
It is.
And that's great. I think going to be great for the business in India as well. And anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. And we'll do our best.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Benedict. Thank you.